Hi there. Okay, this is my little rant on the pipe band grip for the right stick, and you're going to be asking yourself, well, why should I watch another video on how to hold my drumstick? And the reason is that we often get shown how, but very seldom get told why we do things. And instead of just accepting them as gospel, we're going to try and get rid of the mystery and do a bit of explaining, and so hopefully it'll become clearer to you why we do things in a certain way. So, firstly, where along the stick do we hold it? Okay, you'll notice the pipe band drumstick is quite tapered from the butt end to the front. As a direct comparison, here is another stick which is very parallel. So we've got two parallel lines, and it starts to taper down about there. So the main difference is, where's this stick's center of balance? The center of balance is, if I can get this right, it's quite near the center of the stick, because we've got sort of a more even weight distribution. On the pipe band stick, we don't have that. Because of the taper, we've got more meat towards the back of the stick, so it brings our center of balance more towards the back of the stick. Okay, so if you can see that, so we're about there. That's where the stick's center of gravity is. Now, if we hold the stick on the center of gravity and we try and play like that, this is this is the deadest spot on the stick. This is where you're going to get no life and no tone, no volume. You can do a quick demonstration for yourself. I'll try and demonstrate this to you. Hold it at the center of balance and then try to produce a buzz. I'm assuming that you're playing already, and if you're not, just listen and you'll hear what I mean. When we've okay, just listen to this first. There's not much happening there. And as we start to go further back, that's my original point, I'm going to start moving back on the stick. We start to get more stick vibration. And if you were to just tap it on a hard surface, say pick a spot somewhere, and tap that, first on the center of balance, you'll see you get one sound. And as you start to move back, the pitch increases. I don't know if it's coming through on the video, but the pitch increases and the volume increases, and by the sheer physics of the way the drumstick works, you're going to get more rebound behind the center of balance. So we generally get taught, divide the stick into three, whatever, you just kind of picture it in your mind and hold the stick a third of the way from the back, which ends up being at a reasonable distance behind that center of balance. That gives you the stick vibration that you need for the buzz. It gives you a fairly bright tone. It'll help your volume. So that's the why of where we hold the stick. So we actually want to be as far back as possible without losing the contact that we like to have at the back of the hand here, or not the back of the hand, the inside of the hand. That little meaty bit there is what's going to stop your stick when you need it to stop. It acts as a mute where you need to mute, and it's just a point where you have an awareness of what your stick is doing. If we hold it further forward, we don't have that control. So kind of hold it so that it's between your fulcrum point, which is forefinger thumb. Okay, we want to keep that gap there. So you always want to be able to pass another drumstick between there. And I'll try and explain the why behind that also. So we've got our fulcrum point, and we want to sort of line up the back of the stick with that corner of your hand, so that now when you extend your arm, your stick and your arm form one straight line. If you're looking for a natural hand position, just let your hand fall open in a very relaxed position and place this, and fingers pointing up, place your stick in the hand between those two fingers. Very naturally wrap these two fingers around. Okay, the little finger is not going to be touching the stick. We can do that. We can play with the pinky on the stick, but it's not always beneficial, and it's a bit of a useless finger in pipe bands. And then just turn your hand upside, other way around, right way up, and there you've got your grip, basically. Okay, now let's explain this gap, right? You'll see a lot of drummers playing with a closed hand. Now the closed hand has its uses. It's a very powerful way to grip the stick. It's a way of exercising almost like supreme control, and it's probably more utilized by drum kit players, especially heavy kit players, metal drummers, rock drummers, and you'll see some rudimental drummers using this grip as well. But in pipe bands, we always want the stick to be able to vibrate, and the more meat you've got on the stick, the less it's going to do that. So as a contrast, there's my grip. Okay, there's my fulcrum. I'm going to close my hand around the stick. Okay, I'm going to close this gap. So you see how as the gap closes, so we need to close the hand over the stick. And now I'm going to try and produce that buzz. And man, it just doesn't want to happen. It's a dead kind of a. We want a more legato length of note. We want that buzz to have a length to it. So we want as little dampening on the stick as possible, right? So that's why I say 2 fingers is great. 3 fingers starts to dampen a bit too much. And we don't want anything on the top of the stick dampening. Okay, I don't know if you can see that there. That's also a dampening effect. So again, open grip, okay, gives you that duration of buzz. If you want to test this out, just take your grip, let the stick fall onto the pad, and try to listen to how many times the stick wants to bounce before it comes to rest. So that's the natural action of the system that you've got going. So you're supplying the force, and you're letting the stick just sort of come to rest. And you'll see again, open stick, we get a length of note, closed grip, and we lose that length. So when we're playing we rely so heavily on the buzz sound in a pipe band for all those wonderful closed roll movements, that we got to do whatever we can to get that stick vibrating. So I'll do another video on the left hand, and I'll explain the whys and hows and whatever on what's happening with the left hand grip. So that's just the right hand for now. Oh yes, let's to cover one more thing. Where our hand is, where our arm is. With the open grip, if you're playing right in front of you, you'll see it's thumb on top, fingers underneath the stick, and this is sort of the I believe it's the French timpani grip. So we sort of right down in front of us, and it's a very finger dominant way of playing, and it's quite a good position for multiple downstrokes. Gets the fingers in a position where they can work really well but we don't have a lot of strength here. We don't have a lot of, our arm movement is very limited, and bringing in strong accents becomes a bit tricky. And also, I don't think the buzz is, well, it might work. In any case, so we're between this, where the thumb is on top, fingers underneath, and we go around the side to the more the sort of German timpani grip, where we're very wrist dominant. Now this is a rotation of the wrist from the side. Quite a strong action, but it's harder to bring in the finger control. So in the pipe band, we are between this point and that point. We try to get that 45-degree mark. Okay, about there. So where's the thumb? Well, if the thumb was on top here and on the side there, okay, my thumb is, oh, okay, it's over there on the side-on grip. So it's between the two. So I often get asked where your thumb must be. Well, your thumb must be where your thumb is, where it's comfortable between the two. So we've got thumb on top, thumb on the side, and something in between. I tend to play more with the thumb leaning towards the top. It's not 100% on the top, but it's more towards the top than it is on the side. Okay, so all these things give us the ability to create that buzz sound, and we've got the gap in there, the open hand, which gives us gives us the space for the stick to move at the back. So your basic mechanics of the action is that because you've got room to move up and down here, your hand action or your arm action is amplified. So we get that the speed of the stick tip. Stick speed, very important. Something that's very much misunderstood is how much the speed of the tip gives you your strength of sound, and it's not so much the physical force that you're putting in. Like we never want drumming to be something that we have to force. So we let the physics and the mechanics work for us. So we want that amplification of the movement. A small action gives a big result. Okay, a little bit up and the stick goes up a bit more, down the stick goes down a bit more. Okay, so we want that freedom of movement, which the open hand gives us. Closed hand doesn't. Also, you've got this gap there, so you've got space for the stick to move up and down. Yeah, and that all helps you for the rebound stroke. Okay, so you're down, the hand opens and allows the stick to move up. So we've got one motion of the hand down, and stick bounces up, and then we're in position to do a single tap or a series of multiple taps. So I think that's the lowdown, and I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover. So we've got where to hold the stick, we've got the fulcrum, we've got the straight line, we've got the fingers underneath, we've got the angle, which is not perpendicular or from the side, it's about 45, and we've got the openness that gives us all that juicy stick buzz and rebound. So that's why we do it the way we do it. And so have a look at what you're doing with your right hand. If you're having problems with getting the right sound or with speed, or you're finding yourself playing in a very tense manner. Yeah, and like I say, I'll cover the left hand in a different video. So yeah, get those right hands buzzing and bouncing. Cheers.